Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price today as our daily candle is fully below the 200-day moving average on the daily chart, and this candle closes in 4 hours. I want to talk about what I'm expecting for Bitcoin and the overall cryptocurrency market if this candle stays below the 200-day moving average. And notice here how if we go into the 4-hour time frame, we are still maintaining this $38,000 level, which is also an extremely important level that is going to provide Bitcoin the support it needs to not come back inside of this pocket below 35,000 all the way down to 23,800. I want to talk about why I'm still expecting a push to the upside for Bitcoin as an umpire due to the fact that we are maintaining the $38,000 level, which is also a critical area, and it is the weekend. And so this daily candle is happening on a Saturday where we know the cryptocurrency market is the most manipulated due to CME futures markets being closed. And so this could be the trick, trap, and frustrate crew coming in and closing a candle on the weekend below the 200-day moving average before we see Bitcoin continue further up and see sideways price action and consolidate, which would potentially allow altcoins to see momentum. So we're going to look at what's happening to the total cryptocurrency market cap chart, because notice here how we came down to test this 200-day moving average, but we've yet to see any price action back at this level. And when we go into the weekly chart, this is an extremely important weekly candle that's closing in 2 days, and we are currently below the 20-week moving average. However, once again, it's the weekend, and that's when the markets are the most manipulated. Will this candle get back above home base at that 20-week moving average? Because if it does, that could signal that this was a garden variety market retest of home base before seeing continued upside, and that would impact Ethereum and other altcoins. So we'll also look at what's happening to Ethereum, because notice here how for those tuned into the Snipers channel over the last 90 days, I've talked about Ethereum's price below this channel always being a good time to long Ethereum. And guess what's happening again on a weekend? We're seeing this daily candle fully below this channel. In the past, every time Ethereum has gotten below this channel support, we've seen new all-time highs. The first time was when Ethereum ran up to $2,500 after coming all the way down to $1,500. And then the previous point in which it came to this channel support, we did see Ethereum come all the way down to $1,300, but then back above $1,900, testing the $2,000 level. And so we know this is an extremely good area to long Ethereum from the past performance. And so is this also a bullish indicator that after the weekend, the trick, trap, and frustrate crew are going to allow the cryptocurrency market to breathe after such a detrimental week? We'll look at others' dominance and Bitcoin dominance. Of course, there's a lot of analysts saying that altcoin season is over, and we are starting to see signs of a potential recovery operation for Bitcoin dominance. This is a huge puzzle piece on the table. You guys are watching the Snipers channel. Remember to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. First, I want to talk about exactly what's happening to Bitcoin today. We are still at this extremely important support level above 35,000 US dollars after seeing this detrimental capitulation all the way down to 30,000. And notice how right now the daily candle on a Saturday, where the cryptocurrency market is the most manipulated, is currently fully below the 200-day moving average on the daily chart. Anytime we've seen Bitcoin come down to this 200-day moving average, we've seen a push to the upside. You can see we've never tested this 200-day moving average throughout this whole bull cycle, over a year now. And so is this the opportunity to get a position into Bitcoin? Is that why Bitcoin dominance is starting to rise? I'm going to talk about that in just a second. So here is the upside and downside scenario. I'm here to be your umpire. At this point, because it's the weekend, it's the most manipulated, I don't mind that we're below this 200-day moving average. What I do care about is this $38,000 level, and most importantly, the $35,000 support. As long as we're above 34,800 and we are maintaining 38,000 on these daily candles, that to me is a positive sign that this could be the worst of this, and it is a potential opportunity to get long positions in. But if we start to breach 35,000, any hourly and 4-hour candles is the signal to get out, because at that point, there's a massive gap here between 35,000 and 24,000 that Bitcoin has the potential to come down and retest. But once again, I've talked about this in the last two videos, I don't expect Bitcoin to come down to this $20,000 big even, because this is the previous all-time high from the 2017 rally. And in the past, Bitcoin has never tested a previous all-time high. And so as long as we maintain $35,000 for Bitcoin, I do expect this weekend manipulation to subside and for Bitcoin to continue to see a recovery operation. And the real confirmation of further upside will be above 46,500 at the weekly open for Bitcoin. And so that's what we're monitoring right now. I'm not too worried as long as we're inside of this pocket. I don't want to see price action in this pocket. We did see the daily candle yesterday test this pocket. We closed bullish. And remember, everything morphs from the smaller time frames into the larger time frames. And so the 4-hour is important. Notice here that every candle that closed below 38,000 on the 4-hour maintained itself above 35,000, and the one candle that did wick down below 35,000 was a bullish candle with a tail. And then notice here how we came back to 38,000. And so all of these numbers are extremely important. As you guys know here, if you're tuned into the Cypress channel, notice how this next candle, this was the final one to close below 38,000, also a bullish tail. And then so far since then, every candle maintaining 38,000. That's a very positive thing. Now, once again, 41,950 is the next level of resistance, then 44,800, and then the weekly open at 46,500 is the confirmation level for potentially seeing new all-time highs, because if we get above this weekly open, there's a high chance Bitcoin can get towards 60,000 again, but that's above 46,500. It's going to take some time to get there, but for now, this is the place we want to watch, and we want to monitor that $35,000 support level. And let's quickly take a look at what's happening to Ethereum. Notice here how we're below this channel. Is this the opportunity to get into Ethereum? Well, notice on the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, we are starting to test the 65,000 Satoshi level, but once again, it's the weekend. Is this price manipulation? Well, we come into the smaller time frames, it does look like we are seeing a garden variety retest of the 200 period moving average on the 4-hour chart. We need to hold this level at 60,000 Satoshis, showing confluence with that big even if we want to assume this is just weekend manipulation. And if we can get back above 65,000 Satoshis, to me, that's the confirmation. Ethereum will most likely see more strength than Bitcoin. And of course, we're going to have a long conversation about altcoins in just a sec, but the 4-hour looks really good on the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. And so to me, when we look at the Ethereum to US dollar, if we're at 1980, that looks like the good support for Ethereum right now. We don't want to break 1980, but we really don't want to break 1760. I don't know if Ethereum will get down to 1980, but the confirmation of upside is going to come above this monthly open at 2,700 US dollars. And so if Ethereum can get above 2,700, I believe it's a straight shot to 3,650 and potentially new all-time highs. And so we want to monitor that Ethereum to Bitcoin chart at 65,000 Satoshis. And we also want to monitor the Ethereum to US dollar chart not to break 1980, where we know there's a lot of volume here. And so a lot of people are saying that altcoin season is over. And I want to address, as an umpire, what I believe is happening to the total market. So when we look at the overall cryptocurrency market, it's a very different picture than Bitcoin. We only came down to this 200-day moving average one time to retest it. That we can consider garden variety market behavior. We want to get above $1.75 trillion in total market cap very soon, hopefully by Monday, if we want to assume further upside. Currently, as long as we're above 1.1 trillion, I do believe that there's still potential to see higher price action in the medium term. Does that mean new all-time highs? Not necessarily. It could still be a consolidation, or we could see new all-time highs. But what really matters is Bitcoin going to be seeing strength, or is altcoins going to do well? So with the weekly chart, the total market cap, if we close above this 20-week moving average, right at that $1.6 trillion level, that's a very positive confirmation for the overall market, not just Bitcoin. And when we look at others' dominance, notice here how we did see this sort of bearish tail candle on this weekly chart that's closing in a day. And on the daily chart, we are starting to breach this 50-day moving average and the monthly open. Is that a concern for me? Yes, it is. And so what I'm watching right now, of course, we have home base here at the 20-week moving average. At some point or another, I believe it's going to get back towards this major resistance for others' dominance that dates back to 2017. And remember, this was the ICO craze, and then this was the start of the DeFi craze. And now we're seeing a whole different altcoin market develop that doesn't just include ICOs where investors didn't get immediate returns. They're seeing DeFi applications, lending platforms with billions of dollars locked up. In my opinion, if others' dominance starts to continue to show weakness here below this monthly open at 14.25% dominance, there is a potential that in the medium term, we could see some strength with Bitcoin against altcoins. I don't think every altcoin is going to be included in this mix, but some of the altcoins will be. And so what I like to do is stick by the fundamentally sound altcoins, not the meme coins, if you want to assume a positive ROI on your investment. And so with others' dominance, what I'd like to preferably see is, yes, we need a cool off after January 2021. We saw a massive run up in altcoins. How does this cool off play out is what's going to determine the real future for altcoins. And at this point, because we're so far away from the 20-week moving average, which is home base, we can even come all the way down here and still see bullish upside over the long term for altcoins. And what I'm expecting to happen here as the umpires, this 20-week moving average at some point is going to move up here towards that 12.25% dominance, where we have a multi-year support level because it was previous resistance. And what happens to previous resistance, right? It turns into support. And so if we come down to retest this, I think this could be an indicator that it's time to enter into altcoins. And that will be if we are starting to get hourly and 4-hour confirmations continually below that 14% dominance level, then we might as well expect some more downside. But I wouldn't be too worried. It's only about 10%. And that's not a lot when it comes to these altcoins that have seen hundreds of percent of gains. And so is altcoin season done? I don't think so. The chart is still extremely bullish above home base. That certainly looks a lot better than what Bitcoin dominance is showing, where the 20-week just crossed below this 200-week. But notice here how in the past, this 20-week moving average has liked to stay near this 200-week moving average. And so very interesting stuff going on with Bitcoin dominance above this previous weekly open. There's a potential that altcoin dominance can come down, retest that 2017 support, and that would allow Bitcoin dominance to come right about to 50%. And so what I'm expecting right now is we're starting to transition and see some strength in Bitcoin dominance. And so I'm expecting about Bitcoin dominance to get towards that 50% level if this trend continues. And that would take altcoin dominance around 12.25% before seeing continued upside. But I do believe it will see continued upside. And so I want to make that clear. If it's just a seasonal break, that's not a big deal if you're in these fundamentally sound altcoins. Now, let's talk about the DXY. The traditional markets have a huge effect, and we did close the week inside of this channel. To me, this is very positive. This allows us to assume bullish upside in other markets because we're not seeing too much abnormal behavior with the DXY, and so stability is good for this chart. The S&P 500 did close with a bearish tail candle here below the monthly and weekly open. That's food for thought as we open up into next week. So we'll watch that. And then gold closing the week, breaking out of this major structural resistance, and the gold to Bitcoin chart, what we've used here to predict the top here. Since we started covering this inside of this triangle, you can see we're still showing continued direction back down towards this 2017 high for the gold to Bitcoin chart. So we will continue to watch this. And with that being said, I appreciate each and one of you snipers tuned into this channel. Remember to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. I want to give away a book, Principles by Ray Dalio, to one of you watching. All you have to do is comment below and share this video, and you'll have a chance to win. And if you are following us on Twitter, we're going to start doing giveaways on Twitter. The link is in the description below. I'll pick a winner from our video yesterday, and we will move forward from there. Let's see. Samuel A says, did you get a trim, bro? Looking good. I wish the market was as smart as you, brother. Keep watching. Still a chance. I did. Thank you so much for the kind words, Samuel. Send me a message on Instagram. My personal Instagram is in the description below. And for those that want to attend our meet and greet at Bitcoin Miami, June 4th to June 5th, the largest cryptocurrency conference in the world, I'm going to be having a meet and greet dinner here. Michael Saylor will be here, Jack Dorsey, a lot of my friends like Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano and Ethereum. If you haven't checked out my interview with him, the link is in the description below, youtube.com/snipers, and you'll see it right there on the homepage. Amazing interview. But a lot of my friends will be there. Jeremy Gardner, Tony Hawk. I'd love to see you there if you want to attend. The link is in the description below. The prices are going up in 24 hours, so get your ticket to Bitcoin Miami, June 4th to June 5th. I'd love to see you guys there. And with that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And by the way, I went vegan about 3 years ago, so if you're coming to this meet and greet, I just want you to know it's going to be a vegan restaurant. And the reason I'm vegan is not anything that, is against meat eaters or anything. It's just my diet. I've felt a lot more energy eating vegetables and following a vegan diet. And so if you're coming to that meet and greet, just keep that in mind. But I'd love to see you guys at Bitcoin Miami. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in today. I'm going off topic. Until next time, snipers out.